We're back now with a major development in a sex abuse scandal that's been rocking the royals. Prince Andrew, hours ago, agreed to a settlement with Jeffrey Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre. This is all according to a new court filing. Giuffre alleged in her lawsuit that Epstein trafficked her and forced her to have sex with his friends, including Prince Andrew, who is Queen Elizabeth's second son. Giuffre claimed Andrew knew she was just 17 when he sexually abused her on multiple occasions in different locations. CNN royal correspondent Max Foster is with us now. And also joining us, former Los Angeles criminal prosecutor Lonnie Coombs, who's also prosecuted all kinds of crime, from murder to celebrity stalkers to sex crimes. It's so great to have both of you here. Max, just about a week ago, you were reporting the prince had agreed to sit for a deposition. It looked like this was headed to a trial. What changed?
Who knows what the conversations were behind the scenes, but if this had carried on to trial and Prince Andrew had sat down and given a deposition, it would have just brought out more and more embarrassing revelations about his life. It would embarrass the royal family. He seemed pretty determined to carry on with it. I think probably the monarchy would prefer that he reach some sort of settlement. He's got that settlement. Virginia Giuffre wasn't giving any indication either that she was interested in a settlement. So we'll wait to hear from both sides some more detail about why they agreed to this. But we're not being given the settlement amount. Prince Andrew is not accepting any guilt on any of the charges here. He does accept that that Giuffre has suffered both as an established victim of abuse and as a result of unfair public attacks. Now, this is all to do with Prince Andrew's associations with Epstein, of course, a convicted paedophile, the late convicted paedophile. And what he goes on to say in this statement, or this is a joint statement, but it speaks much more for Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew regrets his association with Epstein and commends the bravery of Miss Giuffre and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others. He pledges to demonstrate his regret for his association with Epstein by supporting the fight against the evils of sex trafficking and by supporting its victims. Now, all along, Prince Andrew has been accused of massive mishandling of this case, going right back to the BBC interview, not expressing enough sympathy for the victims, only defending himself. The case is over, but you have to question whether or not he can come back to any sort of public role because his reputation is so massively damaged.
And Lonnie, we heard the statement and it was very carefully worded there. A settlement is not an admission of guilt, but people wonder, if you didn't do it, why pay?
Absolutely. And I think, as Max said, going to trial in this case would have been a huge disaster for Prince Andrew, because I think, especially in the public eye, they already feel like he has shown himself to not be forthright about this. His interview was disastrous. And yet just in January, he was demanding that he still be able to go to trial. His attorneys had tried to dismiss Ms. Giuffre's lawsuit with a motion to dismiss, which was denied. And Prince Andrew's response was, okay, I'm going to trial. And Virginia Giuffre's attorney had also said, look, I don't think she's going to be satisfied with just a financial settlement, because that's not allowing her to make her statement in court, make her case. And this settlement statement that we're hearing was carefully worded, obviously by both sides, to try and satisfy what both sides wanted to have said. And so you have these statements about, I didn't mean to malign her character, which is in stark contrast with what Prince Andrew's attorneys were saying in the motion to dismiss, alleging her essentially as out for a big payday, that she had made more money off of these allegations than most people would dream of having in their lifetime. And now he's saying, not only did I not want to malign her character, but I also applaud her bravery for standing up. It's interesting to see what's said and not said in that statement. He does admit that she was a victim of abuse, but it doesn't say sexual abuse. And he said that she was a victim of these public attacks. But then he goes on to throw Jeffrey Epstein under the bus and says, really, all I did was I was associated with him, and that's what I wanted.
Right. And so already the Queen has sort of cast away Prince Andrew from his direct ties to the royal family, although he's still a prince because of his blood. But no more military titles, his access to royal financing gone as well as of last month. This was after a judge here in New York allowed this civil lawsuit to proceed. I know, Max, the palace isn't commenting on this settlement specifically, but given everything that the Queen has already done, how she's responded in the past, what does his future look like? What does he do now?
It's difficult to imagine, isn't it? As you say, he doesn't get public funding anymore because he's been stripped of his titles. He doesn't represent the Queen. He's got a small military pension. He's selling his ski chalet, according to various reports, to pay for all of this. You wonder where the money from the settlement's going to come from. Can't really imagine the Queen wanting to be associated with the case at all by paying for it. I think the only option really at the moment for him is to, maybe get some support from the Queen, then go out and get a private sector job or borrow some money from the private sector. The one advantage of not having an HRH title is that he is now able to go out and get work from the private sector in the same way that Prince Harry has done. So he is able to do that, but you can't really imagine him taking any public role. His reputation is so massively damaged. He's focused all his efforts, as we were hearing there, really winning this case, but at the sacrifice of his public relations. All the way along that has suffered, and it's suffered for so long now, to the extent where the Queen, even before he was, faced any sort of sentence or was, let off this case, basically threw him out of the working royalty. So, it's hard to imagine how he's going to make a comeback.
Max Foster and Lonnie Coombs, I appreciate both of you. Thanks so much.